With the victory of Ur-Nammu over the Gutians are now gone. And hey, maybe with this newfound freedom from barbarian rulers, perhaps the city-states of Mesopotamia can flourish into their own independent states, and we'll get some diverse and brilliant new kingdoms and cultures. Who knows? Let's see what caused history to... okay, never mind. Ur's looking a bit hungry and has already started snacking on the other city-states. Well, their newfound independence was fun while it lasted. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you lads and ladies around the world, and welcome back to Mesopotamia, where an ascendant city-state of Ur has pushed the Gutians out of Mesopotamia forever, where they would now virtually disappear from the historical record, to be replaced in the position of dominant power in the region by the city-state of Ur, soon to have hegemony over all of its neighbours in the Mesopotamian region. With the powerful and capable Ur-Nammu at the helm, the city-state of Ur rose to prominence in southern Mesopotamia, coming to dominate all others and even having the Ensi, or ruler of the city-state of Lagash, killed in battle, cementing the position of the city-state of Ur as the dominant power among all other Sumerian powers in the region. And this led to the establishment of the dominion of what is known as the Third Dynasty of Ur over the region. And if you thought that Ur-Nammu would stop at conquering all of the other city-states and bringing them under his thumb, you would be wrong, my friend. For after supplanting perhaps another strong player in the region, Utu-Hegal, Ur-Nammu took on the title of Strongman, King of Ur, King of Sumer, and King of Akkad. And despite claiming all of these impressive titles, it appears that Ur-Nammu did not have a smackdownly heavy hand, that's phrase of the year 2024 right there, in ruling over all of the subordinate Sumerian city-states. It appears instead he combined the desire for universal dominion with the independent nature of each of these Sumerian city-states, keeping the position of Ensi within each of these individually powerful cities, but in a way making sure that Ur was definitely the dominant power in the region. For before Ur-Nammu or even Sargon of Akkad came along, an Ensi was an incredibly powerful figure in the Sumerian city-states, for they essentially acted as a ruler who governed a city on behalf of a city's patron god. But under the dominion of the city-state of Ur, all of these other independent polities, well, semi-independent now that Ur-Nammu has kicked their gates down, had their rulers or Ensi appointed directly by the city-state of Ur itself, therefore demonstrating to the governed peoples that the Ensi now ruled these cities on behalf of the city-state of Ur and not a patron god, which would in turn demonstrate to the people living within these polities that the power of Ur surpassed even the gods themselves, which would echo into another familiar tradition of many civilizations across the world at this time, that being the rulership through the use of deified or godlike rulers. And you don't have to look very far to see where this tradition is employed in the contemporary civilizations that existed alongside the Sumerian city-states and the Third Dynasty of Ur, such as in Egypt, for example, where the pharaoh was considered a god, and also in that of ancient China, where the emperor had been granted his power through the mandate of heaven. Yet as you can imagine, this sudden change in the power structure of the entire region that had at this point been in place for centuries created more than a bit of pushback by those who had just basically been told, your gods suck, our rulers are now the new gods, worship them, don't do anything stupid, and basically, hey, put that torch down over there. But whilst we may assume that there must have been some pushback and unrest in the territories that the city-state of Ur now controlled, this is little more than an assumption at this point, for any evidence of battles or fighting taking place under the leadership of Ur-Nammu seems to be strangely obscured. with the rulers of Ur actually preferring to avoid mentioning any battles taking place against the Sumerian city-states that they ruled over, perhaps meaning that they wished to cultivate a peaceful and just image among the territories that they had recently assumed control over. This resulted in events such as battles against rebels, the crushing of local uprisings, and the punishing of their leaders. Remarkably, was left out of the final biographies of some kings of Ur, particularly Ur-Nammu, meaning that events that would have otherwise at this time brought glory to the biographical writings of rulers in many civilizations across the world at this time are strangely omitted, creating a peaceful, justified, lovey-dovey and sweet and warm, fuzzy feeling about the rulers of Ur. So all they wanted to do was peacefully, if sternly, tell the populations that they ruled over that everything they recently believed just a few days before is now completely wrong, and to bow down and worship their new rulers. Now, where have I heard that before? Anyway. But mentions of potential propaganda aside, if Ur-Nammu's inscriptions are to be believed, he was a very capable and generous ruler when he assumed control over the entirety of Sumer, bringing about such great works as the construction of many temples and ziggurats throughout major cities in Sumer such as Uruk, Nippur and even Lagash. Furthermore, Ur-Nammu's dominance over the region enabled for reconstruction and the rebirth of major civilization in the area, leading to direct agricultural intervention by the state, the creation of more agricultural fields, and even the revival of trade networks that had existed before the Gutian hordes had tumbled over the Zagros mountains to kick the Akkadian Empire firmly in the nuts, with one of these inscriptions detailing how Ur-Nammu had directly intervened in the agriculture of the region, boosting its production. Quote, "The canals you dug, the great fields you sorted, the marshes you drained, the grain you collected, the fortified farms and villages you built, I want the people to look at them in wonder, and that they invoke your name, Ur-Nammu, forever." Close quote. From this, it is clear that Ur-Nammu was an effective administrator. It seems as effective as he was a conqueror, and this is further reinforced by his institution of a law code, one which predates even that of Hammurabi, whom you've probably heard of, by at least 300 years. This law code, perhaps the oldest set of laws found within the Mesopotamian region and perhaps even the wider world at large, standardized law within the 3rd dynasty of Ur and the subsequent Sumerian domains in southern Mesopotamia, with a key aspect of Ur-Nammu's law code being the institution of hefty fines in silver for crimes such as bodily damage. Quote, "If a man knocks out the eye of another, he shall weigh out 1/2 mina of silver. If a man knocks out the teeth of another, he shall weigh out 2 shekels of silver." Close quote. Yet one of the more famous projects undertaken by Ur-Nammu is the redesigning of the city of Ur itself. A grand canal was built going right through the city, with avenues on either side of this large and impressive construction. However, most of the impressive work done comes in the form of the city's religious precinct, where it has been found that there were plenty of temples to be built, chief among them the famous ziggurat of Ur. This building, comprising of 3 raised terraces built one on top of the other, dominated the skyline of the city of Ur, and was perhaps one of the largest buildings in the world at the time, rivaled only perhaps by the pyramids of Giza themselves. This colossal and dominating structure supported the Temple of Nana, the moon goddess, and the patron goddess of the city-state of Ur, chief among all of the gods of the Sumerian pantheon under the direction of the city-state dominating the region, perhaps elevating the gods of Ur itself above all others, and sending a powerful message to any visitors who visited the city, projecting the might, wealth, and power of the kings and rulers of the city-state of Ur above their contemporaries in Sumeria and beyond, with this power being solidified in a structure of mud bricks and bitumen, an oil-like substance. However, if records are to be believed, then this ziggurat, so colossal as it was not completed within Ur-Nammu's lifetime, with Ur-Nammu having believed to have died in 2094 BCE, being succeeded by his capable and successful son Shulgi, whom we shall discuss next time. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and perhaps subscribe so that then you don't miss out on any more updates concerning the history of our world and its cultures. For now though, I'm Lewis of the Grand Portfolio, and thank you for watching.